Hey, this is Jacox, and welcome to another Fusion Resolve effect. Today we're doing a mirror distortion effect or a corrugated plastic effect. Okay, let's roll the clip. As always, the .setting file will be available on Patreon. It's just a drag and drop effect, including the black and white inversion LUT that will get you rolling in 2 minutes or shorter. It's really quick. This tutorial is probably going to take 10 to 20 minutes, and replicating this effect can take you an hour or two. I appreciate you supporting the channel. Okay, let's get into the tutorial. First, we're going to need a displace map here. And we're going to do a background into the foreground input. And it's going to be a gradient. And it will look like this. So it's displacing on the white part and doing nothing on the black part. And if you move it over here, it will just be doing something in this section. Then we go back to displace, and in XY mode, we're gonna change X refraction, and now we can see what it's doing. If we add another point here, which my effect does in the setting, you can see it more clearly what's happening, right? So on the left side, nothing is really being affected, and I think I had it set something like this. All right, in the displace, we put the X refraction up, and now what we want to do is just copy this a bunch of times. So we're going to press repeat, and it's got to be a smaller strip so it can repeat all over the canvas, right? So we're going to start at the half of the image and go to 1, right? So it's going to repeat it everywhere else. And if we start making the end smaller, it will now repeat it all over. And this is pretty much the effect. I don't think it's the nicest way to do the effect. Like in my settings, I've actually worked with it in a way so it looks as good as possible, as similar to the corrugated plastic, but this is basically it. You can call this done. And I also played with the Y refraction. And the last thing you can do is play with light power to get the lines. And I think 91 degrees is perfect. And then when you, maybe it's not enough. It's got to, right? But it also does these black lines, which my setting doesn't do. And what my setting actually does is has the light power 0, and the displace is basically copied over here. We put in the same Control-T to swap inputs. We put on the same things, and then we merge it together using screen, I believe. Whoop, not screen. Lighten? Right. Lighten, and if we go back to displace and we put up the light power, we only should get the white lines, which I think is nicer. You can then play with the spread to get it a little blurry or not blurry, but this is pretty much the effect. To make the node graph nicer, I like to add alt clicks here. Oops. So it's a little more easy to read in a way. You can do a bunch of more tricks to it. If, for example, this is not a white background, you can add a magic mask and merge a white background behind it and have it all done. But this effect works best on a clean background, either a white one or a black one. But that's just the best way it works. And now to the LUT. The LUT looks like this, and this is just by a bunch of glow, bunch of rays, and color space transform, and then finally lift of blacks. So if you go to waveform, just lifting blacks. So let's try to rebuild it. I'm gonna leave the color space transform. I'm gonna add a node before, I'm going to call it black and white. It's going to be my black and white conversion. Why do it like this? This gives you control over individual channels rather than just desaturating. So basically his skin can be mixed differently. Maybe you want to see pores more and stuff. You can just mess with the balance of these things and it's going to look cooler. All right. Next, I think you could do invert. And like a correct way to do everything would be first primaries and then HSL. And then I would do contrast, which I'm probably going to use. But just note, you would place these all before. So now we got invert, shift space to search and invert it. Now we can see the invert is not looking the way we would want to, so we're just gonna adjust it. We're just gonna crush the blacks basically all the way where we want it, and maybe go with the gamma and whites and so on and so forth. For the purpose of this tutorial, to keep it short, I'm not gonna play around with it too much, but this is pretty much what you get. Then I would do glow. Glow, I would search for source regions, and I would want his hair to work. And then glow alone, I would do lots of spread, lots of gain, lots of spread, more gain, more spread. And I think that's the way I did it. Yes, I would go back down on the gain and then look for source regions, maybe play with it a little bit more, maybe go down with the gain. Then I would put in race, and the way I like to use race is at an angle, super long, source regions about this, length, and then play with the angle and softening. And that's pretty much it. I think I added contrast in the beginning, right? And that's pretty much the effect. You can add some denoising in the beginning and film grain in the end to make it look cool, but I'm not gonna add film grain now because it's gonna completely destroy my playback. Also, I think it's very important to mention the inspiration for this effect, who is Art Getman. I think he is a Russian cinematographer, and a bunch of other people who have made this, so credit where credit is due. Thank you for the inspiration. And I think it's super important to mention where you got your inspiration, as opposed to the other guy who also made a viral reel and never credited the guy. So that's super uncool. All right, so thanks for watching the video. Comment, like, subscribe, give me some ideas for my other videos. Again, if you want to support the channel, you can go to my Patreon and buy the setting and .lut file from there, or subscribe and get all of my effects that I've made so far. And thank you, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.